Hi guys, welcome to our third question and answer tip type sessions that we're going to be doing. This one kind of follows on from what we were talking about last week about fat burning and what is the best exercise to do that. We mentioned in that program, if you've not seen it, have a look at last week's video. We mentioned obviously lots of other things, but one of the things that was kind of pulled back on a little bit was using resistance training as part of a kind of fat loss program. How would you put that in? I mean, there's lots and lots of ways to do it. This is the way that I kind of find works quite well for me. I enjoy it. I work quite a lot this style with my clients and they seem to quite like it. So it needs to be progressed. So what we need to be looking at is full body resistance training. So not just isolation exercises. So we're not looking at just working the shoulders. We're not looking at just working the legs. We're trying to get the whole body working as a unit. That kind of forces the heart to do a lot more work, which makes it a bit more aerobic. You're going to find that you get out of breath a bit more, a bit sweaty, and you kind of get more done in quite a short amount of time. It's kind of really the backbone of our circuits of the day, which again, you can see loads of those on our YouTube page. The one I did tonight was included burpees, which for those of you that know me, that's not really anything particularly rare, but we chuck weights into it as well. So you've got a little bit of explosion, a bit of power into that exercise because you've added resistance. So what we'll do is we'll run through really basically 3 different levels, okay? So from beginner to intermediate to something a little bit more advanced, and I'll try not to waffle on too much, just sort of try and show you how to do it and then let you practice, okay? So the first one, we would really call it almost a burpee. So I'm going to move back, try not to get yourself in shot. So we're going to look at a burpee, okay? So, but we're going to do it with a single arm, because this will lead on to the next part of the exercise for the intermediate stage. So kick the dumbbell out of the way. We don't need that for the moment. So you're going to stand, feet want to be slightly wider than hip width apart, comfortable. You're going to squat down, touch the floor, stand up, back down to the floor, jump the feet out, knees down if you're really new to this, press to the floor, push back up, jump, hands back to that position, and then stand up again. Back down to the floor, 2 hands, jump out, down, and back up, okay? So you're mimicking what the next stage is going to be for, which is when we bring the dumbbell in. So the next stage, we're looking at trying to add a bit of resistance to that, like what we said earlier on. So obviously for somebody that's been training a few months or maybe a couple of years or more, that standard burpee done for 8 reps is not really going to push them that much. Even if they made it a bit more explosive, they probably could have done 12, 15, 20, which is okay, but for what we're talking about today, I want to keep it a little bit more powerful, okay, a little bit more explosive. So we're going to add a bit of resistance to this. So all you're going to do is you're going to stand either side of a dumbbell. Your hand is going to reach down, grab the dumbbell, other arm can go wherever it likes, mine tends to kind of float out to the side, and then you're going to stand up powerfully, pop it back down to the floor, hands out, jump, press up, come in, then other side, don't forget to swap sides, pop it back down. So done at full speed. Okay, so that's the simple way to add a bit of resistance. Even that, depending on the amount of resistance that you're going to use, is going to start to get the heart rate up. I can already feel, I mean I have done this session already today, but I can already tell you now that's starting to get my heart rate up a little bit more. If we're doing 8 aside, my heart will be pumping quite badly with that, okay? So that's a good thing to start pushing in. Choose a weight that you can comfortably do, watch your squat technique, try and make sure that you bend your legs, stick your bum out behind you, keep your chest lifted. All these things we can talk about if they are new, comment, look at some of the other videos, a bit more basic things like band squats and things that we've talked about before. But get that right, and that explosion off the floor with a heavy resistance is really going to start to help. The third and final version of that is I include like an overhead snatch type movement to it as well. So you do the same thing, you're pulling it up from the floor, but you're trying to get more speed from the floor, a bit more power, so that it follows up and you finish in that position. So I'm going to move back a little bit, otherwise you won't get it in shot. See if that's about right. Okay, so same position, feet slightly wider apart, hand drops down onto the dumbbell, explode up, control back to the shoulder, control back to the floor, and then it's the burpee the same. Then the other side, to the floor, and back down. So that's what I've just been doing. Heart rate's up already from the session that I did earlier on. And it's quite hard, you know, you use a decent amount of resistance on that. It doesn't want to flow from here to here. So you can probably see on that left hand side, yeah, that felt quite difficult for me. The sets that I've done, just to give you an idea tonight, was 4 sets of that. It's 8 reps per side. I wasn't alternating, I would do all one side first, take 30 seconds rest, and then do all of the other side. And I would start with my weakest arm first. So if you're quite new to chucking this stuff around, start with the weaker one of the two. You know, so don't just sort of go blazing in, you know, throw 10 reps out with the right arm, then pick one up and think I can't even move it. Okay, so go a little bit easier, try and think, progress with this. It can be quite a tricky exercise to do. Okay, keep with level 2 until you've really nailed this up. Down to the floor, you feel comfortable that you can squat this weight up safely, okay? The very, very last thing we want to be seeing is people kind of arching over to pull this dumbbell up. You should be chest lifted, reaching down, powerfully standing back up. So if we're looking at it sort of side on, you want to be here, dumbbells on the floor, squat down, flat back, power through the hips and stand up, drop the dumbbell back down to the side and then jump out into your press up. Do not end up like this and just standing up. That's probably one of the worst things you could be doing for your back on that exercise. The same when it comes to this snatch part of it as well, okay? So from here, big explosion, so up, and it carries on. There will be a stall point where it doesn't want to go up. Feel free to drop and stand yourself back up on it, okay? When it comes back down, depending on the resistance that you've got, it's gonna feel quite heavy. So on the way back down, just try and make it control back to your shoulder, swing it back to the floor. But if you are at all uncomfortable with any of that, speak to us in the gym, we'll give you some tips on it. But that is one of my favourites at the moment, has been for quite a long time, giving it out to quite a few clients. And you get a lot done in sort of 20-30 minutes. You could pair that with something like a simple prowler push, or even put a little bit of cardio in, something like 250 metres, maybe 500 metres on the rower. You know, really, really blast it, but keep away from long, slow, steady cardio with this stuff. It's got to be quite powerful, quite explosive. Hope that makes sense. Level 1 first, then level 2, only if you feel comfortable with level 2 by pulling it up off the floor, then progress on to level 3. Any questions, give us a comment, just ask. That's what we enjoy doing, okay? Session 4 in a week's time. Thanks very much for watching. See you again soon. Bye-bye.